He came tooth and nail for me.
What happened? I didn't see it. What happened?
Oh, Alex, let him talk. I'm just going to sit back and listen.
Guys, we can't forget these words. They don't want to play under pressure. They don't want to play under stress. It's easy this way. It's comfortable here. Who said that? Who said that? Who uttered those
Antonio.
words?
Is playing full pressure?
It will never change. It will never change. You can keep switching managers, and I'm not saying that Frank isn't at fault, because he's the culprit for a lot of things. The XG, you can directly point that to him because we didn't see those patterns last season in the same sort of record-breaking way. 3 out of the 5 worst, I said this last time I hopped on, 3 out of the worst 5 XG accumulations this season in the Premier League have come from us. And we're now the team with the most home defeats. Home defeats under 20. I think it is, I don't know, I saw a stat, 10.
In the calendar year, yeah.
Yeah, in the calendar year, 2025 out of all Premier League teams. And you have to account for Burnley and the other teams that came up.
That is mostly under
didn't
Ange,
play
though, to be fair. That was mostly
That
under Ange.
stat is
It's still
disgusting.
building up under Frank, though.
You have to blame both parties, and I'm not like I'm gonna call Danny out too. Like he's on the extreme. He's like all the players, it's only the players. I'm balanced. I'm not gonna be, because it's a combination of both. It's always a combination of both. But these players, you can see it in them. We've seen it multiple times this season. There's nothing at stake for them. We're at home. There's nothing at stake. When we're trailing, that's when they turn their game on, because then the pressure is on.
Let me ask you this, Alex. Let me ask you this because you know, a lot of people are talking about these players, right? The starting 11 today. Who is the terrible player in our team in the starting 11 today? And man for man, in my opinion, we're much better than Fulham.
Yeah, of course. But first of all, I have to call out our youngsters, because our youngsters, they're young players. They'll always have inconsistencies in their game. You can't rely upon them as first team starters. As a big six club as we supposedly are, we can't rely on them. And who's responsible for having these players being their first team starters? It's Levy and the squad he's left with us. Most of these players, they're Levy players. You know, Lucas and Archie, they can't be relied upon to be first team starters, and no other big club in this league has that. They all have experienced top professionals that put in performances every week, players that you can rely on.
Lucas Bergvall was one of our best players last season.
Yeah, he is. He was, but he will be inconsistent. Today he was good. He got hooked. He got hooked for Sarr that did nothing. It's all shopping and changing. I agree with Stell on this, because last stream I was more skeptical and I went against these arguments, but yeah, I don't know what you can say. Frank said it before the PSG press conference was really, really, really good. They said, you know, every successful big manager, they clear their entire squad. They keep maybe 1, 2, 3. And the reason for that is not because these players aren't just, you know, they're not good enough. It's because these players that are in the beginning of a project, let me know if you understand this, but in the beginning of a project, they're the furthest away from the success. They're the furthest away, you know. Players that join 2-3 years down the line, they're closer to the final product, you know. They're closer to it, and then it's easier for them to believe. You know. And right now, with this squad, I don't think we have a manager that is a great motivator. I think that's the issue. I don't think he has this thing about them that Jose and Conte, they had it. Do
you know what? A few people have called in tonight and they've mentioned the personality.
Ange, I think during his first season, he had the motivation. He could turn these players on because he wanted to do something exhilarating. He wanted to do something free-flowing, something that goes on the intuition of players. It's easy. They just have to do their thing, you know. There's no overthinking like it is now. Like, don't shoot outside the box. Don't cross if it isn't a clear-cut like opportunity. Because this is what the players are doing now. They're overthinking. You can see it in them. It's all half-hearted. Like Kudus, when he's about to cross, like he's like, no. And when they're outside of the box and they have good shooting opportunities, they don't shoot. It's all like overthinking, and it stems from the manager. You can't take it away from them. You can't.
Where the hell do we go from here, Alex?
One thing that's certain is that we can't keep on burning through managers. I mean, the greatest, my favorite manager since Poch, said it. Conte, he said, you can't keep on changing the manager, but nothing's going to change. We can't keep on doing it. I don't think right now there's nothing to gain in changing.
But you can't keep with the wrong manager either, though.
Yeah, of course, though. But right now, do you think changing a manager right now will get us a better league position or win us a trophy? If the answer is no, then it's not worth it.
I don't think it's going to be. Doesn't matter what we think. I think if he keeps going like this, he's going to be sacked by the club.
It's awful right now. But getting an interim in right now that won't be Ariola or Glasner because they're not leaving their jobs. Will it improve us? Will it probably make us get a better league position or win a trophy? Because if the answer is no, then
we're not winning a trophy, in my opinion.
No, but then it's not worth it.
I mean, never say never, but
unless you can't bring in a Conte caliber type of manager, which isn't available on the market right now, then honestly,
Xavi's available.
Yeah, Xavi's not going to come to us.
I honestly,
well, we would have said Conte isn't coming.
We're in the lowest sort of place right now with Frank. We're in the lowest.
We say that every week.
We are, and he wasn't even because none of us, when we appointed him, none of us went, shit, this is a good, like, damn, like this feeling you get when you sign him.
Are you the amount of love,
no.
Professor, best
the
coach,
feeling,
tactical master tactician? I heard so much about
the feeling we got when we signed Xavi Simons. Was that the equivalent, but on the manager side with Frank? I don't think that was this.
All right, I hear what you're saying. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he wasn't even my top, appointment. I didn't expect miracles this season, but I didn't expect it to become this bad, honestly. And I think it just speaks of how we don't have a group of players together that feel like a team.
Alex, can I ask something? Because
let me just finish this. I just want to put this out there.
Yeah.
The reason why I think this group went on to win the Europa League last season was because all of those players, they didn't want their names etched into history as the worst Tottenham team ever. Because that was what it was. If they didn't win that final, that was what they were going to be. The worst team ever. They didn't want that.
I think they just wanted to win the trophy, and they believed they could
that motivated them alongside Ange's motivation, because he had been the league off, as you said. We saw something there that was great, but it papered over the cracks because that same team, even when we had our players back there in Ange, they still disappointed in the league. They still, in the league, they for some reason, they shat their pants. They shat their pants in the league. Even when Romero and Mickey were back and we had our full defensive line, it was all still poor. And I think the only solution is to stick with him at least at the end of the season, have a great January window now, and see where it takes us.
Do you know what? Ben,
we don't really have many options, do we?
We don't. We just gotta accept it. We're all in panic mode right now. So
do you know what? I really struggle with this conversation with all Spurs fans, where and it's been happening all season, and it's just happened again, where we play PSG, and all I heard was, I see positives, and Frank is onto something. He's changed his ways now. He's being more attacking. I hear all this big up praise, and then we lose a game, and it's players are shit. Team, not you, Alex.
It's because you get lulled into a false sense of security every time at Spurs, and it's always the case. And it's happened so many times since Pochettino has left this club. It's one step forward and 5 steps backwards, and we get lulled in this false sense of security when we see something half positive. We create a one chance, and we're all like, yes, we can create chances.
But Ben, are you surprised? Are you surprised? Because these players, this core group of players, most of them have either been signed from mid-table clubs with mediocre wages, or they're simply not experienced enough when it comes to winning. They don't have that age or winning experience. They've come from clubs like Bournemouth.
Nor has the manager. Forest. He's got no winning experience, and he's come from mid-table clubs. But so's the manager.
Poch didn't have any winning experience still.
But Poch, hold on. Poch got Southampton 6th place in the league, and he was playing some of the best football in the Premier League.
Yeah,
he wasn't a winner.
It's not objective success on paper. It's not
No, but what I'm saying, Alex, is if you're looking for a young, promising, up-and-coming manager who's playing the Spurs way, Poch ticked those boxes. Iriola is ticking those boxes if that's what you want, or you go for that proven winner manager like
I get what you mean.
Ange, like what Glasner's doing, like what Conte was. But Frank is neither. He's not a winner, nor a manager that plays football the way we like. What is? I'm not. What is Frank to you, Alex? What manager is he to you? What type of manager is he?
Right now, he's the manager that was identified by the club to come in and sort of stabilize us, from the mess of last season.
Do we look
that
stable?
was his mission. I believe the first thing they said to him when he walked into that
stable?
room is, "You have to stabilize us. You have to make us solid. We can't be like this. We can't get humiliated every week." I think that was, and going back to Ange. Honestly, I have to be brutal because the amount of people I said, "Bring him back, bring him." Ange is a manager of success until it comes to a certain level. After that, it stops. This season, he wouldn't have won a trophy, a domestic trophy, which is on paper. I hate to say it, it's harder to win a domestic trophy than the Europa League.
How do you know?
I agree with that.
He was 90 minutes away from the Carabao Cup final last
Still,
year.
he wouldn't.
we got
I
eaten
firmly
alive.
believe he wouldn't
we
have
did,
won
but we
a
went
trophy
to Anfield,
this
which was
season.
like the
He
place
wouldn't have won
to
a
be
trophy
last
this
year, wasn't
season
it?
with this group of players. And the only way I see Ange working in this league, because Dyche proved he's a better Premier League when it comes to Premier League results than Ange within 2 weeks.
Yeah, but Forest is a defensive team. They're not in a.
But
Alex,
the only
can I
way
ask
I
you a
see
question?
Ange working in this league is with one game a week, or if he has a world-class
Forget Ange. He's
assistant.
gone. Right, he's gone.
Yeah.
Ange. He's gone.
Yeah, so
Can I
that's
ask you
why
this?
when I say people like they're obsessed, like, oh, we have to go back to him. No, we can go back to bed. We can replace better managers.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is it possible? Is it possible that Ange wasn't the solution going forward, but Frank isn't the solution for what we want to do next? Is that possible? Or do you as a fan, forget what the club thinks, me, anyone in the comments, do you think Thomas Frank is the man to build a project that takes us to the promised land? Is he that guy? And if so, I want you to explain to me why he's that guy.
Honestly, I can't say right now, and I can't believe in it. How can I believe in him being that guy when the patch we're going through now, it's looking like it's you can't see any light right now. If you can't see any light, then I don't know what kind of there's no real optimism. But yeah, he doesn't have that winning experience. So until he wins his first trophy, then you can't call him a winner. So it's hard to say, but. Yeah, I don't even. There's nothing better we can do. That's my belief right now. There's no other guy out there that we can bring in that will get this group of players sort of motivated and looking up to him as a profile of like, yeah, we want to perform for this guy. Because if we bring something in, I think it'll be on nobody that none of these players will go like, yeah.
I think these group of players, no matter what any fan thinks of them, I think they just need a way of playing football to stick to it, one that isn't restrictive, one that isn't all-out gun-ho attack, one that's got some balance, and they just get to play some balanced football for 10 games in a row in a similar system, and just let them get some respite and understanding of what it is they're trying to do. I think we need a manager. I don't actually care who it is, just someone that does that. If Frank can do that, I think he fixes a lot of the issues. The issue I've got at the moment is he's not doing that. And I think that's, I mean, do you think that's fair, Ben? That's what we're crying out for now. Just a stable way of playing football that isn't ultra defensive but isn't ultra attacking. Just a bit of balanced play.
I said on stream with Sim the other day that Ange was too much this way. Frank has been too much this way. We do need someone in the middle. That's what we need right now.
Do you know what I think this overtinkering goes down to? The core reason to it is, for me, Frank has done his homework. He has analyzed last season, and he's seen the disaster that was of last season with our injury crisis, and he's gone, I can't repeat this. I cannot.
But we all said last season we need a manager who can adapt, and that's what Frank's trying to do.
Yeah, but I think he's gone, I'll do anything in my way not to repeat this injury crisis.
He over-adapts, though.
I think his reason is for rotating so much and going in and out. He doesn't want another injury. He doesn't want to cause another injury crisis that will risk him losing a job. I think that's the main reason down to the over.
But he's going to lose his job losing every single week.
Yeah, and it's costing him. Obviously, it's costing him. And I think he's an overthinker. He said that himself. He's an overthinker. He thinks he thinks too much, and but still, it goes down to this. These players that we have now, most of them, you can't look at them and talk about them as winners. Most of them have been at clubs where there's no winning culture. And
They
I have
won
to
the
call this
Europa
out.
Cup.
We're the only Big Six club where a player signs for the club and he doesn't feel like
Our players won the Europa Cup, Danny. They won the Europa Cup.
When this
Not
player
Danny,
sets
Alex.
sets
So
his foot.
Alex, our players won the Europa Cup.
Yeah, and I said that was the main reason down to that was because they were obsessed with not becoming the worst team in history.
See,
They couldn't.
now we're diminishing our success in
No,
order to
no, I'm not
justify the
diminishing.
narrative. We diminish
My
the players when we lose.
the happiest day of my life was when we won that trophy. I'm not diminishing.
So you think in that cup final, those players said we must win to not go down as the worst team, or we must win because we want to be winners and have a winner's medal. I think I think it was about winning the trophy. And
Yeah,
being
it
winners.
was, but it was, and that part came from Ange. That's where I credit him. He was the main motivator, the main leader of the group. He was the head of the group that sort of got us there, and that got all the players under him to win this trophy. But it was also a case of they couldn't accept themselves as they looked at the league and they were like, this is an absolute it's a shit show. If we don't win this trophy, then everything is like. But I just want to finish it up with this. Top players from top clubs, they're the ones that go into every single game, no matter if they haven't heard of this team before that they're facing. They go into every single game. They're ruthless. They have to win. There's no other option. They have to win. The core group of our players that we've bought to the club, they've come from clubs that don't have those expectations. So either it is that we have to have this culture established at Spurs for when they come in, they have to feel it. They have to feel like a shit. I have to win here. I have to win. It's sensible, but like everything around me, I have to win. It's all about winning. I don't think we have that culture at the club, and that's Levy's legacy, in my opinion. And it comes down to club culture, in my opinion. I think we're the only Big Six club where when players sign, they don't feel this pressure of like we have to win. We have to win. Like I have to win. I have to win. Like if I don't, then it's disaster. I think the mentality is the main.
How do we fix
Yeah,
that?
it's the main issue.
How do we
It's the
fix
main
that?
issue at the club, and that's why we say. Still, you say this. Oh, fans! One game they blame the players. They say shit, and then the other game is the manager, and everything's great. Why it fluctuates like that is because it depends on the pressure. I don't think our players need motivation to perform against PSG away. It's a different sort of pressure in their mind. At home, it's more. Most of these players they hadn't even heard about Fulham before joining us. Like it's at that level. It's like we're
Alex,
at home, we're
Leeds United
comfortable.
away is pressure.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
won that
it
game.
is.
There's no
It is,
pressure.
but it's always going to be up and down with players who perform after. It's always going to be like this with them. Inconsistencies. It's
There's
always going to be like that. You're never going to get consistency with players that aren't obsessed with winning. You're not, because they're going to turn up whenever they feel like it.
I think if you look at the teams that won often, Redknapp, Poch, Conte got us from 12th, convinced Harry Kane to start playing football again, got us 4th. These managers, they drove that mentality. They drove that energy.
did.
They drove that. They instilled it within the team, no matter what good or bad players they had. For me, it's a mentality that comes from the if the manager leads the way, the club should then follow. We didn't follow with Poch, and that's why it collapsed. But the manager, I think, has to show something to the club. I'm worth it. If the manager doesn't show that they're worth it, then I think that's. What do you think, Ben? I think it stems from manager. Do you think it stems from above?
I think it does stem from above. I think it filters from. Look, don't get me wrong. I don't think the manager's portraying that right now, and I think to a certain extent, a manager can get that out of them. Conte can only get it out of them temporarily. He couldn't carry on with it. Why is that? Why couldn't Conte carry on with that winning mentality?
He needs to be back.
So it does stem from the top.
But what I'm saying is, if you're a club, would you back a manager that doesn't show you that they deserve backing? Like Conte, Redknapp, and Poch earned the.
But why
right
hire
to be
them?
backed.
They hired them. They hired him for a reason.
Still, you're proving your own point.
Nuno got sacked because he showed to the club you're not worth backing. Mason
Still,
never got the job because he proved you're not worth backing.
Mate, you're proving what you're saying right now.
Sorry.
Redknapp, Poch, and Conte, none of them won anything, but they created a team to be feared. They created a team to be feared, and that's as far as they could take the club. Without backing, that's as far as they could take us. And that's where club mentality comes in. That's where
100%. I agree
what
with
does
that
the club
completely.
want? Where does the club want to take us from the maximum point of the manager has done all he can. He can't
The
take us.
manager can only take what he's saying is a manager can only take us as a certain way,
Yeah, I agree
as
with
far
that.
as a
I
certain
agree.
That's
way.
where the
I
club
do
has
agree.
failed us.
So
during the years.
mentality does come from the top.
We didn't win anything with Poch, but they did their best. They couldn't do much more. They could make individuals variation like
So
in
by that
finals, and that could
metric,
have maybe gotten over the line. But at the end of the day, they needed backing from the top, and that's where club mentality, the overall, you have to be unified as one toward one common goal. If the manager wants something else from the board, then it's never going to work.
Yeah.
If the manager wants to win and the board doesn't want to win, then it won't work out. It'll end up in a sacking like it did with all of those managers. Like
I think it's
we're
both.
going to go around in circles
Juan de
unless
Ramos won a
something changes.
trophy under this ownership, and so did Ange. I think it's both. I think, yes, you're both right. I totally agree. The club has to back to take it to where it needs to be. You're right. But I also think the manager has to show the club, I'm worth it. Whether the club listens
I
to
agree.
that or
I
not
agree.
is a different conversation. But I would not want my club to throw money at any manager that isn't showing they're worth it. They've got to show
Yeah,
just something. Whoever it may
Still-
be. Whoever it
still,
may be. Not just
thi-
I'm not just
thi-
talking about
this
Frank, I'm
is-
talking about any manager.
this is where a manager gets irrelevant to the conversation, because when you have a board that's ambitious enough to sign quality players that are good under any manager, that are quality players that any manager can utilize, then the manager doesn't become as important anymore. Why the manager has become such an important figure at Tottenham for the years there, because we signed mediocre players that only work in a
So how
certain
did Ange
system.
finish top 5 then, Alex?
He finished top five because he had one game a week. I said that's the only way you're gonna make Ange work in this league is if he plays one game a week. Otherwise, his playing style is unsustainable. And he was a motivator. As a manager, he was a motivator. He motivated his players. Where when the tactic wasn't
How
up
did
to level,
Pochettino get top 6 in his first season?
he was a great tactician and a motivator and someone that brought the group together. I only think Frank is one of these things, and I think he's only a smart tactician. But when it comes to motivation, getting this family feel around the group, I don't think he's as great as.
And also, Stel, what you got to remember about Pochettino as well, we got lucky in a sense that all the top clubs were off it at that moment in time. Arsenal was shit, Liverpool was shit, Man City weren't the Man City that we've been seeing over the last 5 years. Chelsea were up and down. Like, we got lucky in that sense that all the top clubs weren't really at it consistently.
But we were a brilliant football team.
We were a brilliant football team.
Because you can say we got lucky, but look what he did in Europe against some of the best teams in the world.
Agreed.
That wasn't Premier League. He made us good. I agree with both of you. I think the
league is different now, though. It's different now. Fulham at 15th, they're 15th right now. If they win a game, then they can go up to 6th. That's how tight it is. That's how tight it is. The league is different. I think all the teams, they've realized
Alex,
now.
can I ask you one question then? And this is my last question I have for you.
Yeah.
If we keep losing like this, like lose to Newcastle, lose to Brentford, lose to Forest, just keep losing, would you say, go on then, Frank, here's 150 million in January?
No. If we're gonna spend those 150 million on mediocre, sort of Spursy levels that we've signed during the last.
No, that's what I'm asking, Alex. It's not my question. My question is, if you said to Frank, if he keeps
I get what
losing, would you give him a checkbook to go and open up in January if we keep losing like this?
I get what you mean, but if we sign a Semenyo for one of these, then I don't care if Frank's the manager, because I know that the next manager that comes
Okay, but
in
I'm
is going to
asking
be.
you, would you give Frank the money to spend, Alex? Not who we're going to
Yeah,
sign.
because
Would you give?
yes, because it don't matter.
Okay, all right.
If we lose now, I don't think, because what's something that we haven't done at Spurs is we haven't ever gone through a really shitty patch with a manager and stuck through it.
Well, like last
We've
year.
never done that. We've never done that. So I think we have
Like
to.
last year.
Yeah, but that was like a dead end. That was like a dead end.
This was an excuse, man.
I think it comes now. If you lose, like, let's say against Newcastle and Brentford, I don't think you sack him. I don't think you do. I think you stuck through it.
No, I'm just wondering what fans think, because I think it's a good question to ask.
Yeah, I think you stick through
losing,
it.
we finish
You
answering.
stick through it and you see where it leads us. If it's a dead end, then you call it at the end of the season. You don't call it now, and we'll see where it takes us. And I don't even think this this new hierarchy has the balls to sack managers like Levy does. I don't think with Vinay.
We don't know.
I don't think they're gonna be as ruthless. I think they're gonna see it out either way.
Maybe not. But look, Alex, Always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend. Thanks
Yeah,
for
big
coming
up, guys.
on today.
Thanks for having me.
Big up, Alex.